A pleasant good evening and welcome to SAT TV's Channel 9 Evening News. I am Nisha Charles.
And I am Deslin Joseph.
And we are your presenters for the evening. Thank you for joining us. Among the major developments, Barbadian cadets conduct training in Dominica.
Canadians leave top police post in Trinidad and Tobago.
Eurozone manufacturing activity hits 3-year low.
And in sports, Dominica enjoy 100% success in Windward Island School Games in Grenada.
Details of these and other stories after the break.
SAT Telecommunications Limited is the official rights holder and broadcaster of the 2012 London Olympic Games.
Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Limited, the people's choice. Join hands with us. Come and sign up for your digital TV connection today. We got the sharpest, cleanest, brightest digital TV connection. No antiquated analog service, only pure digital and many new packages coming soon. With latest in sports, movies, children programming and much more. So if you have your flat screen TV and you want to see quality TV, join now. Sign up today for your digital television. Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Limited, the people's choice.
Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. Former parliamentary representative of the Roseau Valley constituency, Mr. Norris Charles, says that Roseau Valley residents depend on tourism for survival. Mr. Charles stated that for over 20 years there has been active off-tourist season.
Last year we did not have it this year, and it's affecting, it's impacting on the economy of the people in the Roseau Valley. And the government must answer for it. We have a situation with the aerial tramp, the rainforest aerial tramp, where over 60 people, are now left without a job.
He went on to say that when Mr. Colin McIntyre was acting Prime Minister, he said to the people to be patient and he was waiting on a response from Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit.
When that happened, the parliamentary representative of the Roseau Valley, Mr. McIntyre, was then acting Prime Minister. And he told the people to be calm. He's waiting on the Prime Minister for government for them to know what to do to assist the people of the Roseau Valley. On Friday, there was a special meeting called by the Rainforest Aerial Tramp, the shareholders, to liquidate the aerial tramp. At that meeting, I'm also a shareholder, I raised the question as to whether the management of the aerial tramp had any discussions with government as to what government is trying to do to assist.
Mr. Charles goes into further details about the meeting held.
The representative of government who was at the meeting, she came and she said there was no consultation, no meeting, and they're requesting the company to adjourn the AGM so that they can have discussion with government. The Aid Bank supported it. In fact, Mr. Isidore, who was the lawyer of the Aid Bank, who had substantial investment in that, also supported it, and he moved the resolution.
He added that 60 people are affected directly, and he is amazed that the parliamentary representative of the Roseau Valley constituency said nothing in regards to this at the budget.
Over 60 people are affected directly. Do you know that the parliamentary representative of the Roseau Valley, he had over an hour in Parliament on the budget debate, and he said not one word about the plight of the people of Lona in particular, which supported him tremendously. And he said nothing. So we have a situation where we have the off-season and the tourists, the cruise ships, industry is going down. The Roseau Valley people are affected. The aerial tram is closed down. So it would appear that the Roseau Valley might might soon be the next community, the next constituency to be on welfare. And that seems to be the trend in Dominica.
Dominicans and visitors alike are being urged to show their support by taking part in this year's hosting of the popular Rabbit Festival. This call comes from events coordinator of the National Rabbit Festival, Mr. Jeffers Parlow, who promises that this year's 9th annual Rabbit Festival will outdo that of last year. Mr. Parlow pointed out that the idea for the festival came from Mr. Nelson Simon and Mr. Panman Bellot when they received the funding project from the Small Grants Program, which was to develop small ruminants in the village of Cochrane.
The project was very successful, but what happened is after a period of time, the rabbits were breeding extremely fast, and we were limited into what we had to do with all that rabbit meat. So the idea just came about by why not having a rabbit festival.
Since 2008, when it was deemed the National Rabbit Festival in the reunion year, the event has been growing each year and in turn is very beneficial to the community. The events coordinator says because of the scale of work needed to host such a grand festival, preparations start each year immediately after the festival concludes, since procurement of the rabbit meat is in the adequate quantities is vital to ensure that they do not ever have a shortage. Mr. Parlow added since the event takes place on the school grounds, the villagers are always included in the planning and setting up of the event.
The whole idea of the Rabbit Festival is one, to increase the revenue at that time for the villagers, and I have to agree that all the monies, well, most of the money is generated at the Rabbit Festival is generated by the villagers themselves, and not just the committee. The committee hosts the activity on the school grounds, but people patronize the whole village. So all the shops, all the stalls, all the bars, they are the ones that generate immensely. And the people that sell their produce, some in front of their house, some at the festival itself, that's the ones that really benefit from the festival itself.
He says the last 3 years has been challenging because it rained throughout the event. Nevertheless, the event has maintained its high standard, which will only get higher each year. Learning from previous years, this year we'll have more tents set up on the grounds in the event it rains, and the floor plan for ease of access has been improved so everyone will feel comfortable. Mr. Parlow highlighted some of the activities carried out by the festival.
This year we did a big tribute to all the widows in the village. We used some of the monies to buy stuff and to just get the event going for them. We recognize a few of the hardworking mothers, past and, well, I would say widows and mothers. And the thing is, we are a bit limited into the amount of funds that we can use because it takes a lot to run the festival. Our budget is somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000. Now what we do, the funds generated one year go towards generating the festival the next year because sponsorship is limited.
In the past, proceeds of the festival had gone to sponsoring education for students in the village, and with the success of this year's festival, they want to provide scholarships to a few needy students, all in the effort of giving back to the community.
We start the Friday, we start at 8 p.m. We begin with a gospel festival. We have a wide range of local artists that's going to be on. We have Nicole Christian, who just launched her album a few weeks ago. We have God Sent, we have DJ Alfie. We also have a few dance groups from around the island. Cochrane, we have Live. We have also the People's Pentecostal Church that will be joining us as well. And we have Bajan-based artist, Dominican Bond, Nyan Warrington, who will be performing here and launching his album here for the first time ever. So that is a highlight of the Friday night.
The major event will take place on Sunday, which is the Rabbit Festival Day, which begins at 11 a.m., where government officials will speak at the opening ceremony, followed by a number of activities and performances planned for the day, in addition to enjoying rabbit being cooked in all ways possible.
Patrons who've been to the festival in the past is fully aware of the type and the caliber of activity that we put on at Cochrane. We want to encourage people to come up. We know that is you drive up through Canefield and you go out through Springfield. The road is I would say 90% done. I'm sure that no matter what vehicle that coming up there will not have any problem. we just want people to come out because it's a nice, fun-filled atmosphere. Everything will be taken care of. You just come, there's place for you to sit down and chillax and just have fun and bring the entire family. It's going to be very good. It's a nice, peaceful atmosphere.
Mr. Parallel added that all the villagers are expected and preparations are going smoothly to ensure everything goes well for the event, which includes a gospel festival on Friday, August 3rd, the reggae night on Saturday, August 4th, and the rabbit festival on Sunday, August 5th.
A contingent of 35 senior cadets from Barbados will visit Dominica on August 2nd to conduct training for 6 days. In Dominica, the Cadet Corps started in 1910 and stopped in 1979 due to devastation from Hurricane David. It re-emerged in 2010 and is doing well. Captain Dawson Robin, Public Relations Officer of the Cadet Corps Central Committee, says in 2012 they have managed to maintain a stable program of approximately 40 cadets with the help of many committed volunteers.
Much remains to be done in terms of budgetary allocations and human resources. Priority needs at this time includes uniforms, accoutrement, and new volunteers in supervisory positions. As such, we are appealing for increased public, private, and corporate investment in the Cadet Corps. The Cadet Corps has proven itself both in Dominica and the rest of the Caribbean.
The Barbados Cadet Corps has a long association with Dominica and started training with Dominica in the 1940s. Captain Lizelle Bascom of the Barbados Cadet Corps says there has been several opportunities for bilateral cooperation and assistance, and they anticipate what they will work more closely with Dominica to develop their own program.
We have committed in Barbados to making sure that our senior cadets complete their star level training in an overseas environment, and Dominica has been chosen as the venue for this year's training. The group will be involved in a youth forum. We'll do a trail hike in some mountains which you don't have much of at home.
He says the biggest benefit to the Barbadian cadet will be opportunity to make friends and narrow the CARICOM gap between future generations and experience the unique and rich heritage of Dominica.
We anticipate a challenging camp. We anticipate very good cooperation, and we eagerly look forward to reporting a job well done and success and growth for everyone involved in the camp.
The Barbadian cadets will be stationed at the Goodwill Secondary School for the 6-day training. Captain Bascom is encouraging the general public to be involved in the open day on Sunday, August 5th at the Goodwill Secondary School from 3 p.m.
Electricians and electrical contractors were all present at the Fortune Hotel on Wednesday, August 1st for a seminar aimed at electricians and electrical contractors. The event, which was organized as part of the Independent Regulatory Commission's 5th anniversary celebrations, discussed topics such as aims to develop national standards for electrical systems, equipment and facilities with the reference to international standards and guidelines and procedures. Regulations Manager at the IRC, Mr. Francis Paul, says this workshop is very important to ensure the safety of the public, because if electrical installations are not done accurately, it could result in electrical fires, which in turn results to loss of life and property.
The IRC is about to get regulation in place which would allow for the certification and the licensing of electrical contractors and electricians, because we find it important. That is one way to ensure that we have safe installation. Another issue we have seen is that every house that install, they do an installation, people don't test them after. And the regulation we're currently working on, the IEE regulation mandates that you do it every 5 years.
During certification and licensing, the IRC will require persons that certify licensing initial installation to be tested by the inspectors. However, every 5 years, a homeowner will be able to get a licensed person to inspect their home's electrical wiring to ensure that it is in order, since over a period of time, wiring can deteriorate, especially those exposed to the elements. He said this will be done as the IRC is working close with the Electrical Division to develop a memorandum of understanding so the Electrical Division will do the work the IRC is mandated to do.
We have been in talks with the college so that the college itself can provide the necessary programs for electricians to go through. Because as you know, any college in any country is critical to changing the mindset and contributing to the development of standards within a society. And we have been speaking to the college. We have also been speaking to the Standards Bureau, because quite apart from the licensing and certification, we also want to bring things together that standards are established for Dominic itself.
Mr. Francis listed some of the other topics covered at the seminar.
We have the fundamental elements of electricity. We have electrical testing and safety. We also have regulation and standards. And the fundamentals of electricity will be covered by a lecturer from the State College.
The regulations manager pointed out that the seminar will address any knowledge gaps present by electricians so they are fully knowledgeable of their profession. It also seeks to sensitize all those involved in the electrical industry on the upcoming regulations, licensing and certification process.
As you know, the process of the IRC with regulation, it has to be transparent as well as predictable. And once we sensitize them now, they're also going to have an opportunity to, when the regulation are put out, to really comment on it before it becomes a workable document.
He added that they are working to have this regulation process started by the end of this year, but it has to be approved by the appropriate minister before they can continue the process.
The Old Mill Cultural Center was filled with excitement, African displays such as paintings, their cultural wear, and much more on Tuesday, July 31st as an African showcase took place. Chief Cultural Officer Mr. Raymond Lawrence goes into further details as to what took place.
This evening we have an African culture explosion here at the Old Mill Cultural Center. We've asked Africans who live in Dominica to assist us with tonight's event. Basically, tonight will feature a number of artworks, including paintings and craft items from various African countries. We'll also be featuring some of the fashion.
Mr. Lawrence refers to Africa as the motherland, and he believes that it is important that Dominicans learn about their ancestors. He mentioned that although we have our Kalinago natives and European influences, we still need to remember the African slaves who were brought to the Caribbean, which is a major part of our heritage.
So it's really a celebration of African culture. It's to build appreciation, greater appreciation for our African heritage and our African history and culture as part of emancipation this year.
When asked where the idea was originated from, Mr. Lawrence had this to say.
We've always had a focus on our African heritage because of the fact that emancipation was really because of the freedom of the slaves, the freeing of the slaves. 1st of August 1834, and then after a 4-year apprenticeship, 1st of August 1838. But the cultural division, probably about 30 years ago, we felt we needed to highlight that 1st of August a little more, apart from the holiday that was introduced many years before that. So we thought we should have some special activities just to highlight emancipation. And so for maybe the past 29 to 30 years, we've been highlighting emancipation every year.
Mr. Lawrence also thinks that we as citizens will benefit by being exposed to the African culture.
I think, of course, Africa is the motherland. It's where the African slaves that were brought to the Caribbean and to other parts of the world came from Africa. A number of us are descendants of these African ancestors. I know we have our Kalinago heritage as well and European influence as well. But the African heritage is a huge part of our culture and history in Dominica. So I think, one, we need to appreciate our African heritage and culture. Two, we need to become more understanding and more knowledgeable about Africa itself and the African culture. And then thirdly, we really need to celebrate it, I think.
This has been a local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.
SAT Telecommunications Limited is the official rights holder and broadcaster of the 2012 London Olympic Games.